How's it going, friends? This is your boy Sean Don coming back with a technical analysis. It's been quite a while since I've uploaded to my YouTube channel. I had to take a little hiatus while I was technically a volunteer assistant coach at Penn State, but I am no longer doing so. Yeah, getting back to some online coaching and stuff like that. And yeah, so if you yourself are watching this video, you're hammer throwing, you're wondering what I can do to improve my technique, throw farther, go to gripandrip.co. That is my coaching website. Go sign up for technical analysis. Go sign up for some programming, some coaching, all that stuff. I'm here to help. Yeah, plan on going a little bit deeper with the coaching stuff this year. So yeah, go check it out. Gripandrip.co. Here we have Dawson Sedivec, a collegiate hammer thrower that I've helped out in the past. And what was I think last year he said he set a 15-meter personal best in the hammer throw, which is just absolutely insane. So you'd love to see it. I already took a couple glimpses at this video, and to see the progress he made over the past year is quite something. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's take a look at the video and kind of break down and see what he can improve and see kind of what we're going to be focusing on over the next, few months of us working together. So run it back one more time. Just seeing kind of the change in patience, the stability in orbit, and you can just see the ball whooshing a little bit more. So yeah, great changes. As you can see, you put in the effort, you reap the rewards, just like Dawson has. So as we break it down, frame by frame, starts out facing the center of the ring, opens up, faces the right pretty well. This video quality seems to take a little bit more time for me to scrub through and break it down frame by frame, so we're going to do our best. But yeah, it's facing the right, steps back, steps up. You see he's shifting his weight over to the right. Coming a little wide, or perhaps rather in front of the body a little bit too much in this wind. I like to see the winds a little bit more right-sided. I like to think of it as a kind of backwards D shape. So if this were the spine of the D, the letter D, then you got the orbit to the right side a little bit more over here. So if you come a little bit too far to the left, it can kind of affect stability in the body and just kind of tension of the throw in general. What you can kind of see as the ball comes around the left, you can see a little bit of slack in the wire. It's not quite parallel with the ground, which means that the ball just doesn't quite have enough centripetal force yet. So we can work on the winds a little bit and see what we can improve and see how that affects the rest of the throw. But as you step up, shifting the right well, and then as you come through on entry, let's see how you stabilize that left side. Hands, maybe it's just the video angle. As you can see, the camera's kind of down on the ground, so that kind of affects how you view everything. But it looks like the hands are a little bit low. But then as you come through on entry, pretty solid stability here. Level shoulders, level hips, everything's kind of turning with the hammer pretty well. You're a little tiny bit ahead of it. Very tiny bit ahead of it, but that makes all the difference, I think, where this is, like I said, much improved from what I've seen last year. But not too shabby. A little tight with the arms, like I said, if the hands are a little bit down, more towards the waist, looks like you're sinking at the hips just a little bit. So all this stuff kind of feeds into connection, kind of affects tension a little bit. So arms just look a little bit tight. You'd have it just a little bit, and you can see once again if we look at the angle of the arms versus the angle of the wire, it's not a perfect straight line where you can see it kind of through the hands, kind of points down a little bit, but then as you go from the wire to the ball, it rises up a little bit. So there's just a little bit of disconnection there in terms of centripetal force, centripetal acceleration. Then you can see your hips are kind of back behind you a little bit, but you're pretty stable. So there's just some tension in the arms. Got to loosen that up a little bit. And then with your hips back a little bit, you see your right leg and your hips aren't quite turning with the ball as it goes around the left. As you see, ball goes left, hips are back away from the ball a little bit. So you're kind of not quite finding that direction, finding that connection off entry. As you see, this right foot also, right leg kind of comes back behind the ring, you'd be able to see that from a side view, but with this angle, it's kind of hard to tell. But I have a trained eye. So then, as the ball continues to move through single support, your right leg's just going to be a little bit behind it. Nice tidy single support. You get a little bit more kind of like an A-skip hip flexion position, knee up a little bit more. As you can see, it's kind of more like a butt kick almost. But you try to be quick with it. And then as you go to catch, not too shabby. You actually sneak it in there pretty well. You go with a heel catch the first turn, and you can see the hands are kind of down a little bit. Once again, kind of short, tightening the orbit a little bit, hampering connection just a tiny bit. But I think the throw gets better as it goes on. So you catch this first turn, and then we check the stability. Once again, I think you have a good line of force in terms of your right leg working up through your left shoulder. But then you can start to see you're still just a little bit ahead of it. There's a little bit of that left side pulling back, shifting back before the ball gets to zero. Not a bad position here though, lower body's with it. But it just looks like still most of the energy is coming from that left side rather than the right leg and the right hip, and maybe even just the right side in general, the right hand, right arm, whatever you want to call it. And then you're just back a little bit, perhaps too much on the right side towards the end of the second double support. But you start to see that centripetal force get better. You can see that straight line from the shoulders to the hands through the wire to the ball. That's getting better. Left leg, left foot is pointing a little bit ahead. Still an indicator that the left side is just a little bit ahead and kind of the driver of the entire throw. And with that, the right side is going to continue to be a little bit behind, where your hips are with it, but your right foot still kind of peeling off with this plantar flexion towards the end of double support. So then your right hip isn't really quite the driver of the throw that I like to see. But still come through, and once again, kind of not quite that good, solid A-skip position through single support with that right leg, but you catch a little bit later, just before 270 still, and you can still see a little bit of tension in the arms. Kind of goes back and forth, I think. Like towards the end of double support, it gets better, but earlier double support, you still see a little bit of that tension through the arms. You catch, still a little bit flat-footed, hips a little bit more underneath you. Let's see if that stabilizes you a little bit better. A little bit. Still a little tiny shift back before the ball gets to zero. It's very subtle. You still see that left foot kind of opening up and leading, kind of driving the throw. And now you start to see this right hip getting a little bit more into it. So like I said, as the throw goes on, it gets better. We still got to go get a little more hip flexion, work a little bit more of the hip flexors, so as a skip position, like I said, if you're used to sprint drills. And you can see a little bit of tension in the arms, especially from this angle. You can see a little bit of tension in the left arm, and then even the right arm looks like you're gripping a little bit, kind of pulling with that bicep just a tiny bit. But this position, as we go through single support, you're starting to see that right side turn with it a little bit better. And then still, as you catch, so you get deeper here. So that's kind of a sign of a little bit of a better single support movement, better connection and double support in the previous turn. You catch, still a little bit flat-footed, so we can get you up on that toe a little bit more. You'll get a little bit more knee angle, or shin angle rather. You get this right foot a little bit more underneath you. You'll have a little bit more pressure with that right side. You'll be able to turn that right side with the hammer a little bit better. But you catch with a better catch. Let's see what happens. It's interesting. See this flat-footed landing. It's cool in the first turn. I like it. I think it's good for stability. But as you get into like turns 2, 3, 4, if you land kind of flat-footed, that really kind of hampers the ability for that right side to turn and work. And like I said, then that kind of all comes from the left side, which we're going to see here in a second. Stability in terms of left shoulder, 4-0. So you still get a little bit of that shifting back, but I think that mostly comes from, if we go back a few frames, if you watch what kind of happens over the next few frames, you're going to see this left foot, left leg, everything kind of opening up early ahead of the ball. The right side's a little behind it. So you're mostly a left-sided thrower right now in terms of that left side, like I said, doing all the work, opening up, leading the throw, kind of guiding the throw instead of relaxing that left side a little bit more and letting the ball go and kind of take you around the left. You're still kind of guiding it around the left. And then as you come off, double support, hips are more towards it. And you start to see the ball get a little bit steep. You see the hands kind of come up above the head, which is Usually not the best thing to happen. It means it's getting a little bit steep on you, and then it's going to kind of crash on you on the next turn. But now you finally get on that toe a little bit before it kind of that ankle kind of collapses. You can still kind of see the hips and everything a little bit too far ahead of the ball. So you're getting, there's a lot of separation between the hips and the shoulders, which can be a good thing if you use it right. But let's see what happens here. As you go through double sport and you start to see this big kind of pull with that left shoulder. Your right side's finally really getting into it now. Getting some good triple extension. Incredible triple extension through the hips and the back. Really pulling back on it though. Shortening the orbiter on the left, and that's why you kind of see yourself. You see the ball kind of go down what would be kind of the left sector a little bit. But as I look at the throw in full speed, like I said, it looks like there's some good power in there. So big improvements. We just got to see if we can calm down that left side. And honestly, throughout the throw in general, there is some pretty decent acceleration. So, breaking things down frame by frame can be useful, but also it's just as important to see how the throw looks kind of in general, full speed, full go, and identify kind of movements and not just positions. So, yeah, we're going to try to keep that left side a little bit more connected, find a little bit more stability, and try to get that right side working a little bit more. And I think, why not add another 5 meters this year? Maybe 15. Shoot, we'll see. But yeah, great improvements, Dawson. Excited to kind of help you refine these things over the next few months of working together. So yeah, that'll do it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. And once again, if you are interested in any online coaching services in terms of technical analysis, if you want throws programs, lifting programs, whatever it is, go check out my website, www.gripandrip.co, and go to the coaching services page. All right. So once again, thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys will see some more YouTube content from me over the next couple months as I get things rolling again. All right. So thank you for watching for the final time. Have a great, lovely day. See ya.